Hey, what's up you guys? So today we're going to be talking about anime. It has been a minute since I've made a video about anime, but I have been on a huge anime kick lately and I have had way too much time on my hands and managed to watch 12 series in 1 month. So let's talk about them. I watched 12 series in 1 month, and in my head, once I was about halfway through the month and I realized, girl, you are spending way too much time binge watching anime, I decided let's turn it into something productive. Turn your procrastination into productivity. So I was like, I'm gonna watch even more. I'm gonna watch as many as I can this month, and we are going to talk about it. So I'm going to give all these series a rating out of 10 and just give you guys some quick little thoughts that I had about them. These are not super in-depth reviews. I'm just kind of giving my quick little thoughts and whether or not I recommend you guys to watch them. And I would love to hear your guys' thoughts. Let me know what you think of these anime series. I know that there's one of them in here where it was just not for me, but I know that a lot of people love it. So if you've seen that one, I would really like to hear your thoughts on it. And also if you guys have any anime recommendations, I am always open to that. Please recommend your favorite ones down below and maybe I'll make another video watching some of those. All right, now let's dive right into the list. The first one that kicked off my anime month was Maid Sama. I don't know why I waited so long to watch this series. I had always heard of it and I knew it was a really popular like romance series, and it was so good. You have to watch this. So Maid Sama is about a girl who is the president of her high school. It is a mostly male school and she really lays down the law there. She is tough, they fear her, she lays it down and make sure that things run smoothly there. But her secret is that she is also a maid at a maid cafe, which she does try to keep a secret because she feels like people will respect her less if they know that. And the love interest in the series kind of just follows her around, pushes her buttons every chance he gets, but he's always there for her when it really counts. But he is hilarious and honestly one of the best parts of the whole series. Just the perfect combo of like romance, comedy, slice of life, but also having like enough plot line kind of that like it was just like a really well done like daily high school life romance series. Like I don't know how else to explain it other than like they just nailed it. Like there was plenty of interesting characters, plenty of kind of like side storylines and main storylines, and it just really flowed super well. It is such an amazing love story. The two main characters are great and you kind of just like root for them the whole time. You get a lot of couple moments from the two love interests before you get to kind of the finale of the romance, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times romance animes, it's like you wait 12 episodes and nothing. Like the whole time it's just like, come on, hold hands or something already. And then you get to like episode 12 and they're like, hee hee, I like you. And then that's it. And it's just like ends, no kiss, nothing. You don't get any like full wrap up to the series. It's just like, LOL, you should probably buy the manga because they get married. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of how like all romance series are. It's like they give you nothing. Like like I love romance series and I still love those series, don't get me wrong, but like I feel like I'm just always left like that's it. Like you get like barely a confession or you get like, oh, they held hands, hee hee, but it's like, dude, I want this romance to be like, I want more. I've been invested, give me more. So I really like that they have a lot of super cute couple moments kind of before they couple off, if that makes sense. Like you're really not like yearning, you're kind of yearning for them to get together, but like you are definitely getting enough aspects of like they're both kind of showing their interest in their own way, and it's just more satisfying, I think, than some other romance series that leave you kind of just wanting a lot more. Okay, and I gave Maid Sama a 10 out of 10. Already forced my boyfriend to watch it, so you know it's a good one. Next up, we started off so strong this month. Honestly, I think it made it real unfair for the second half of the month series, but I watched a Lull in the Sea. You can watch this on Netflix. You can also watch Maid Sama on Netflix, and it is so freaking good. A Lull in the Sea, you literally must watch it. It's definitely a series that moved me a lot, and there's like been a few kind of like key anime series that like really just moved me and like made me feel something and made me think about life. And A Lull in the Sea is definitely one of them. I bawled my eyes out like the whole time. So if you're looking for a good cry, like a good series where you kind of cry of sadness and cry of happiness, then A Lull in the Sea is definitely the series for you. A Lull in the Sea is about kids who live in the sea and grew up in the sea, and now they have to come to land to go to school on the land. And there's sort of these back and forth of like almost prejudice that the people of the land have for the people of the sea and vice versa. So there's a lot of kind of underlying tones that are really serious about like just prejudices and being equal and living together and things like that. So it was really interesting. It also kind of dabbles in like relationships between people of the land and sea. So it really kind of makes some unique observations, I think, on real world issues, but in a fantasy type way. But the land and sea kind of split makes the animation of the series so freaking beautiful, dude. Like the under the sea animation is really well done and really unique, like almost not how you would expect them to do it. I don't really know how to explain it other than you need to watch it, but it's just beautifully done. Like I was just really in awe the first episode at how gorgeous the animation was. I cried literally every single episode, and there's just some really deep themes that the show tackles. So it's definitely a good one if you want to get thinking, if you want to be moved, if you want to get something out of it, watch something thought-provoking, then I really suggest watching A Lull in the Sea. It's definitely the type of anime series that kind of teaches you some life lessons and can really kind of change your perspective and views on things in your own life. I gave this series a 10 out of 10 as well. Don't worry, I do get harsher soon, but we have one more that I was just obsessed with. So definitely these first 3 are my top 3 for the month. And this one is Fruits Basket. Fruits Basket recently got a reboot. I never watched the original, but they recently rebooted the series, reanimated it, and are also giving it its full storyline. So they just completed season 2 and both seasons were absolutely amazing. The reboot is incredible. The basic storyline is there is a girl who finds herself living with some boys who have a family secret. And I mean, the family secret's kind of a given. It's revealed right away, but in case, I will spare you of that. But basically, they have a family secret and she's kind of like the positive light that like helps people work through things. And it's just really well done. There's romance, there's kind of like action, fantasy-esque aspects to it that make it, you know, different than your typical love story. Like there is definitely a love storyline for sure. And I would say it's kind of a main storyline, but there's enough of like the fantasy portion and the portion that deals with the family secret that like there's definitely a lot more to the show than just a love story. And you know it's good because I literally already bought merch from Hot Topic, so literally bought that merch immediately. I was like, yes, this show is amazing. And now I have to wait for season 3, which is going to be painful because I want to know what happens so bad. But I love the family secret aspect of the story. It's really unique and really interesting, and I know it's like such a given, but I just don't want to spoil it in case people aren't aware of it. But it's a really interesting plot. And I really love that this series has some great character development. I feel like sometimes what I get from like some of the shorter series that I watch, granted this is a longer series, so to be fair, it's a longer series, but in a lot of like romantic love story kind of series, sometimes I feel like I don't quite get enough character development. But that is not the case with Fruits Basket. There is a ton of character development. It's incredible actually, like how well the characters develop throughout the series, especially with the characters Yuki and Kyo. Their development is amazing. The animation is incredible in the series. It's really beautiful. I think they did an amazing job kind of giving this series the animation and attention it deserved versus the original. Again, I haven't watched the original yet, but I'll probably go and revisit that. But just visually what I've seen, they really put a lot into this reboot, and the voice acting is incredible. I think they did a great job. And I will say that I watched all these series in Japanese with English subtitles. So if I'm commenting on voice acting, it's the Japanese voice actors. Next is Masamune-kun's Revenge. So this is a series that sounded pretty interesting to me because it is about a kid who got bullied by this girl for his weight when he was younger, and basically he decides like, well, he like commits his life to being hot basically, and his goal is to become hot, trick her into dating him, and break her heart. So it just kind of sounded interesting to me. I was like, okay, that's a different, you know, like that's a different concept that I haven't watched an anime about before, but it didn't quite deliver. Maybe the manga is better, but the anime series doesn't really conclude, so you're left hanging. Like, nothing happened. Like, you don't get what you're looking for. Like, I mean, kind of throughout the series, I guess your hope is like, oh, they both turn it around and stop being terrible people because they're both kind of the worst. But it's like, oh, they'll turn it around and actually be in love. But you don't get that, and you also don't get to see, I guess, spoiler alert, you never see him dump her, and you never see them also like decide that they're actually into each other, you know what I mean? Like there's just you really get no conclusion. So it definitely leaves you hanging and wanting a lot more. So the ending was pretty unsatisfying, and I feel like it did have potential to be pretty interesting and different, but they just really don't get to the point. It's kind of just like a lot of it just feels like filler and just kind of like wasted time. But yeah, it just felt kind of like shallow and surface level to me. I know the concept overall is pretty shallow, but it just felt to me like they could have done a lot more with it. So I'm gonna give Masamune-kun's Revenge a 5 out of 10. Next is Say I Love You, kind of your typical little slice of life romance anime about the unpopular girl getting with the popular hot guy in school. We've never seen that before. But don't get me wrong, I love that plotline. But yeah, just kind of like the misunderstood girl who nobody likes and the hot guy end up intertwined with one another. But let me just say, Yamato, the main character, is sus AF. Like, he's out here like talking to girls all the time and like just being like suspect. Like, he is, if he was my man's, goodbye. Basically, like, he's just kind of doing some stuff where it's like, dude, like, you suck. Like, this girl deserves better. So it kind of makes it hard to like it. Like, he's kind of just dumb, honestly. Like, I don't know, like, generally you're rooting for the couple to end up together, but with him you're kind of just like, yikes girl, like, ditch him. But I did like that there's a more mature aspect to this romance anime. I felt like it was a lot less kind of like, hee hee, I like him, like, I'm so nervous. Like, it was a lot less like that and a lot more mature of an approach to kind of like detailing a relationship. Like, it felt more realistic, I guess I could say, and less like cartoonish, you know what I mean? Like, less over exaggerated, like, oh my god, I'm so nervous, like that kind of thing. So I did like that mature aspect to the series, because I feel like anime can kind of over exaggerate the anxiety of liking somebody, and I feel like they gave a very realistic approach of that, and I liked that a lot. So that aspect felt more real and deep and less kind of like cutesy and like over dramatic, so I really appreciated that. So I gave Say I Love You a 7 out of 10. Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun. This is the one where I just could not. I am so sorry, but I just couldn't do this one. I don't know what it is. Like, I binge watched all of these series in like a day or two, because a lot of them were like 12 episode series. This one took me, literally I started this before this like 1 month thing. This one took me like probably like 4 months to finally just force myself to finish it, to be able to talk about it in this video. I don't know what it is. It's like a slice of life anime series about a guy who writes manga and a girl who's like, hee, I like him, and they like, it's like a little squad that helps him with his manga basically. And it's really just supposed to be like a slice of life comedy kind of series. Like, there's really not even supposed to be like that much of a romance aspect to it. It's really just supposed to be a slice of life comedy, and for me it just wasn't it. It was almost too slice of life. Like, I felt like I wasn't getting much out of the episodes, and the humor wasn't really my type of humor either, so I didn't find it very funny. And also, there isn't really a plot. It's like super slice of life. Like, there's no development in the romance, and there's just not much happens. There's not really any character development at all, so it's kind of just, it didn't hit the mark for me. I don't know what it is, and it does have good reviews, so I don't know what it is, but it just wasn't for me. But I could just hardly force myself to watch an episode. Like, I don't understand. That's never happened to me with an anime series before. There like was one part that made me laugh really hard, and that was it. So I can appreciate that moment, but I think overall the humor was just not my type of humor. So that one got a 2 out of 10. I feel so bad saying that, but 2 out of 10 for Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun. Blue Spring Ride. This one, such a well done romance anime series. So this is a series about a girl and a guy in high school. They went to school together when they were younger. The boy kind of disappeared off the map, and they liked each other back then, and he comes back and he's kind of just like a totally different person, has a really negative outlook on the world, and she kind of hopes that they can pick up where they left off, and he's like, like, it's not the same no more. Because he's been through some stuff, you know, like he's been through some things in life, and you kind of like unpack that throughout the series and see the relationship develop, and it's really, really well done. This one was so hard for me to stop watching. Like, I binge watched this one, binge watched it. The love story again felt a lot more realistic in this one, a lot more mature and less over the top, so I really liked that. I like that both the characters were pretty active in pursuing their relationship, like pretty open to talking about their feelings, and it was less beating around the bush, like, oh my god, I like him, but I'm not gonna tell him yet, and like you have to wait a million episodes for them to even like be upfront. But the characters were a lot more straightforward with how they were feeling and what they were thinking, so I liked that a lot. It really kind of moved the story along. The build-up in this series was really well done, and just kind of the conclusion to it really nicely wrapped things up. I really liked it. And the male lead is great. His development and storyline are really great. I gave this one a 9 out of 10, and I highly recommend this romance anime if you are looking for one to check out. Okay, next is Aggretsuko season 3. If you don't know what Aggretsuko is, it is a Sanrio character, and she is an office worker by day, but a death metal singer by night, or when she gets angry. But it's just really a relatable series to people who are in the working world. There's just too much relatability to kind of like adult life. And I thought season 3 was really great. I thoroughly enjoyed the ending to it. It was a really different plot line than the others, a lot more time spent out of the office. The only thing that I felt that season 3 was lacking is I wish that there was more kind of like screamo moments in this season, because I felt like it was kind of lacking those moments, which I really enjoyed in the first couple of seasons. But I gave Aggretsuko season 3 an 8 out of 10. Next on this list, another one of my personal favorites from the month, Given. So Given is about 2 dudes in a band, and they, you know, romance progresses, and it's great. I was really highly impressed with this anime series, because I feel like a lot of times when you see a same-sex male couple in anime, it's often kind of like just this over-exaggerated thing. It's kind of like a spectacle almost, like, or it's done for like fan service. So I was just really impressed with the series that it's a gay romance anime that's done so normally. There's no spectacle, no butts of any jokes, nothing. Like, just done so beautifully and well. I was scared it was gonna be kind of like fan servicey, gimmicky, like, ooh, like 2 boys, but it just wasn't. The music in this series is also amazing. I've definitely added it to my Spotify playlist. They had an amazing music budget for this. There's this one song in the series, you will know which one it is. I was just like jaw-dropped, heart-melting, amazing. Like, you will know what I'm talking about if you watched it. Also, it had one of the best confession scenes that I've ever seen in a romance anime. Like, it was just so unique and creative, and it was so funny. If you watch it, you will know exactly what I mean. But I mean, the episode with the song, I could watch it a million times. The song, you have to check it out. Like, seriously, this series was incredible and very moving, and just, I think, really progressive and a good thing for anime as a genre. I give Given a 10 out of 10. Definitely watch it. All right, next is Snow White with the red hair. Again, another romance anime. I was definitely on a romance anime kick this month, so let me know if there's any non-romance anime series that I should check out. I liked the action aspects of the series too. There was kind of a lot of things going on other than just the romance storyline, which I really liked that. Like, it's a series about a prince who falls in love with a girl who is not royalty, and kind of just the struggles of that relationship, and also like the friendship amongst them, and just both of their own paths and kind of proving what they're capable of. It just had some really good action storylines on top of the romance aspects of it. So it kind of just gave it something a little bit extra in comparison to kind of the typical like high school romance animes. Like, it gave it this extra layer of like, oh, a prince and, you know, a castle, and like there's action and fighting people and things like that. So it was just like, you know, gave you a little bit of extra oomph to it. Finally, a series with no love triangles too. Thank the Lord. Finally, a series that doesn't have any love triangles, doesn't throw any wrenches into the plan, really. And I like that, because sometimes the love triangle is just like so expected and so just like irritating, you know what I mean? It kind of just comes to like ruin everything for a few episodes, and you were like, come on, we were getting somewhere. So I really appreciated that there was none of that in this. The characters were very, very likable overall, and I was definitely left wanting more. It was so good that I wanted to see more, but I wasn't left feeling like disappointed and unsatisfied with the conclusion to the relationship. I gave Snow White with the red hair a 9 out of 10 because it had some really fun aspects to it, and I think had a lot more to offer than just a romance. Devil's Line. Devil's Line is everything that we needed Twilight to be, basically. Like, it is the better, darker, sexier Twilight, if you will. It was really, really, really good. So basically, it is a series about vampires. Love a good vampire series. It is a romance that involves a vampire and none other than a human. It's really, really good and has some really interesting aspects to kind of like how vampires exist in society with people, and kind of the struggles that vampires have to fit in society. And also there's like some crime aspects to it, and it's just a really interesting series, very dark. I binge watched it in one night. so good that I watched the entire thing in one night. Like I stayed up till like 7 a.m. or something to finish it because I just could not sleep without knowing how it ended. The couple is super, super likable. You definitely root for them. Yuki is everything. He is high-key hot. Just putting that out there. He is everything that your vampire dreams could want and more, basically, is what I'm trying to say to you. But yeah, it was basically just Twilight, but better and more badass, kind of, and darker. And the animation's really cool in it. They really had a cool vibe to like the animation and the colors of the series and the way that they made the vampires' appearances. I think they did a really, really great job on that. And it's definitely, again, like a more mature romance story for sure. There's a very mature romantic scene, which you normally do not get in romance anime, so if that's something you're looking for, this series is it. But yeah, the series is great if you're into kind of the vampire trope, or if you loved Twilight back in the day, definitely check out this series. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. Definitely gonna force my boyfriend to watch this one with me. Okay, finally on the list is Wolf Girl and Black Prince. So this series is about a girl who cries wolf, basically. A girl who lies a lot, which is why she's called Wolf Girl. She kind of got herself wrapped up with some friends who she's trying to impress, and basically lies that she's dating some dude. Little does she know that the dude she lies about dating goes to her school. And now this dude is a bit sadistic. He kind of like asks her to be his dog in exchange for him like being willing to help her out and willing to pretend to be her man, basically. So he kind of like just asks her to like do whatever he wants, sort of. It's weird. It is weird. The dude is a bit too harsh, honestly. So it is kind of tough in that sense to like the romance aspect, you know what I mean? Like you're definitely still set up to kind of like root for them as a couple, but you're definitely always wanting the guy to do better. And to be honest, he doesn't really. So that's kind of where I felt that this series was lacking. You don't get as much of a change of heart from him, definitely, as you're expecting or wanting. It was definitely an interesting concept that had some aspects to it that were different from other romance animes that I watched, but again, a lot of it's kind of just like too shallow and surface level. Like it doesn't get very deep or emotional. Like they do give you some answers to his questionable behavior throughout the series, and I will say he has some development and change in his actions, but his words don't really project the change. Like you'll know what I mean if you watch it, but still it's short, it's a fun watch. I give that one a 7 out of 10. It was enjoyable to watch, but you definitely are left kind of like, he could have become a lot nicer. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you got some good anime suggestions from this video. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of my ratings of the series, if you've seen them before, and let me know in the comments down below which series I should check out next. Give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it. Hit that subscribe button down below if you are new here. I would really, really appreciate it, and I will catch you guys later. Bye!